I have another little snippet for you on the Astros that I'll share with you. So it's a really, it's kind of it's shocking. If I didn't personally experience it, I'd be like, no way that really happened. So last year, I cannot make this up. This is 100% verifiable. Last year, during Game 7 of the World Series, Astros and Nationals, I went to one of my local. I play a good amount of poker, right? And I went to one of my local casinos here in South Florida, which I'll remain nameless, and I sat down and played some Texas Hold'em, and I kid you not, at my table was Mike Fiers.
Whoa.
Oakland A's former Astro, current Oakland A pitcher Mike Fiers. Now, remember, this is October of 2019. The Astros story did not break until, I want to say, January of this year, something like that, right?
Yep.
And I sat there with him, and I'm a pretty big baseball fan, and South Florida isn't that. They're not at our level, lo and behold. So I was the only guy who knew who he was, and I didn't want to make it whatever. But we had some connections. He played at Nova Southeastern University here in Florida. He's a Florida guy. I had played in the same conference at Lynn. His pitching coach in high school, I actually coached under him when I was a baseball coach. So we had a lot of things in common. So we started just talking baseball a little bit and became friendly. And I'm watching Game 7 of the World Series with Mike Fiers at my poker table while the Astros, his former team, played the Nationals. And it was weird for me because I watched him watch that game and I was asking him questions. I was like, man, how great is, I'm asking him all sorts of questions because at the time I was kind of in awe. I'm like kind of from the Brian Kenny school of like, the Astros are unbelievable. How are they so good? Like, I just kept asking questions. I'm just like, man, are they that much better than everyone else? Is Jeff Luhnow really just a genius? How good is AJ Hinch? And his answers were kind of lukewarm. He didn't tell me anything, but he was just, I could tell he was a little bit, not like super jazzed up for like, oh, these are my boys, they're about to win it.
Yeah.
And whatever, it is what it was. I guess I was just assuming he was just being kind of shy and stuff like that and didn't want to break into his whole, because he's a quiet dude and he's not super, brag, that kind of brag guy. So, and then lo and behold, man, it's 3 months later, the whole story comes out where Mike Fiers is the guy who breaks the story that what the Astros were doing, man. And it was wild. I could never have imagined that I'd be sitting there playing poker with Mike Fiers who broke the story personally. It was pretty wild for me.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh. I could just imagine you were just like, oh man, this kind of makes a little bit of sense as to why he was acting that way at the poker table.
It was, man. He was just casually playing the public poker game on Game 7 of the World Series, like casually watching. I was paying more attention to the baseball game than he was. And I'm like, this is crazy. This guy's a current big leaguer who played for, remember, he was on the Astros in, I think, 17, right? 17 was his last year. Yeah. So, and, I just assumed it was kind of a thing where, since he left the team and they didn't re-sign him, maybe there was something, he was harboring something from that. But, I had no idea what the scope of that story was going to be, Jack. So it was pretty wild for me to be there. Yeah.